This week, we focused and talked about the juvenile justice system. We talked about current issues that are going on with it. We talked about the perception and the reality of it. We talked about social concerns towards it. And we also talked about the objective of the whole juvenile system together. First thing we did is we read an article about juvenile sentencing without parole. Now, this means like a juvenile committed a crime and they were giving a life sentence and they have no chance of parole. In my opinion, that means no chance of rehabilitation. Now, we read a short article that had some statistics on it, and it basically summed up exactly how it is. It said that most of these people, most of these kids, come from lives of bad homes. They come from, they're put in because of discrimination. And just in general, they don't have mature brains yet. Basically what all this article was saying is that most of these kids that go in there, they didn't really have the choice not to. They did what they had to do because of where they came from. The cost of having a life sentence for juveniles is so much because you have to keep them so much longer than an adult. They're not just that, but I believe that there should be rehabilitation given to these kids and that we should give them a second chance from reading this article. We also read an article called The Lives of Juvenile Lifers. Now, this article, same thing, it went over and it said that most of these kids that come into the system are coming from broken and damaged homes. They start off at a disadvantage from birth. And just having them in the system forever and not providing them other programs to help them get out or live better lives after, just set them free to a world where they're still at a disadvantage. And while they're in the system, they're exposed to violence, they're exposed to drugs, their mental health decreases, even if it was bad already. And they just get set on this path in life to be a criminal, basically. And so I just think that this article really was saying that, we need to fix this problem. We can't just keep them in the system forever without any help. Lastly, this week we had a discussion on contemporary issues in the juvenile justice system. Now, I found a really interesting article about the statistics of mental health being in these kids that are going. So most of the time, nearly 70% of the kids that get admitted or in the system have a form of a mental disability. And basically, there is not enough programs and not enough focus on helping these kids learn about their disabilities and just trying to help them get through it. Rather, we just toss it aside and ignore that fact, even though that is the main thing that most of these juvenile delinquents have. I said that I think that there needs to be more programs to actually focus on the mental health, because otherwise you're just going to lead these kids to a criminal life that they can't change because they don't know how to.